I encourage all of my students to take this approach when they're selling their work. We did it with Piper, and Piper can attest it works beautifully. It allows you to elevate your price. You can stand your ground on your price because you know where it came from. It's not something that you just pulled out of thin air because you like this painting, right? So what I tell students to do is to know what their time is worth, right? If you have a job and you make $20 an hour, you're already giving your time away for $20 an hour. You've already kind of set the stage for what your time is worth. So if you do a painting and it takes 10 hours, it's $200 plus the cost of your materials. It's that simple. The idea is that if you're working 40 hours a week, making 20 bucks an hour, and you can get rid of that job to paint 40 hours a week and make the same amount of money, you're now moving in the direction of a career. And then you slowly bring your price up. Right, if you're making $50 an hour at what you do, then that's the station. Again, you think about it, if you're doing a portrait and it takes you, if you know what you're doing, if you develop these skills, like we do it in the school all the time. People do a portrait in 10 hours, and those are the slow people. 10 hours to do a portrait. The people who are fast can turn around a portrait in about 3 to 4 hours. And so, when you start talking about being able to build a career, if you make 50 bucks an hour, and it only takes you, let's say, 4 hours to do a portrait, you can sell a portrait for 200 bucks. And at 200 bucks, a portrait like that is an absolute steal. They're easy to sell. I mean, we've had students in the school, every once in a while, I'll do a thing and we'll offer to just, some of the, everybody who's in the school will say, hey, we have a few of the high school kids are looking to do portrait commissions. And I know that it's going to take them between 4 to 5 hours, so we're charging $300 a portrait. And it's like you figure, you get 2 or 3, right? Because people, their kids are in the school, but their kids aren't up to that level yet. And you'll be inundated with people, 16, 17 portraits. We're thinking 2 or 3, and they're falling out of the sky. And what it is that it's a beautiful piece of art at a very reasonable price, right? And so when you're first starting out, arbitrarily putting a price is, how do you look someone in the face and say, well, this painting is worth 700 and something else I did is worth 3? And one last thought on that. And Jeff, this is a very important, I kind of talked about this earlier. A portrait is no different than any other painting. You're elevating a portrait into something else by changing the price structure on it. A painting is a painting. We don't want to think like a portrait is something special. Now, you might look at it and say, okay, if I'm going to paint something for you that you are commissioning, I have a price scale for that. And then I also have a separate price scale for paintings I simply make on my own, because I'm painting what I want and if you want to buy one. So maybe the paintings you do for yourself because you like painting red barns, maybe you sell those at 20 bucks an hour, but a commissioned work is 35 an hour. So if somebody wants to commission a blue barn, you go out and you paint the blue barn, you're charging 35 an hour because it is a commission. And so a portrait would fall into that. But you want to be very careful about giving portraits this elevated status. Building a career for yourself, and especially in portraiture. Start with a price that you can justify as an hourly wage. Once you establish yourself and you see you're getting enough work, then you can raise your price. Yeah, you may lose some potential clients, but the elevated price will also allow you at that point to basically balance out the income. And then once that levels out, then you raise the price again and you slowly raise it, getting less and less work, but making equal or more money. And eventually you find yourself making a nice amount of money per piece and you're not killing yourself working day and night. So.
Awesome. All right. So last question we have here.
Sure.
Are classically styled portraits still in style? So if you do all of this work to create accurate, and I know the answer to this, I think it's a pretty short answer, but if you go through all the work to create these realistic, believable portraits, are they still in style? Will people still want to buy them?
Well, so people spend money on things they want. We'll just start right there, right?